After the heart has broken and all seems lost, there's oftentimes only one thing left to do: order delivery.
New York City might as well be another dimension the way Zohran is running it. He's managed to wrestle back $100 million for gig workers in the city. It's gotten to the point where even the capitalists at Financial Times are giving him his laurels. The people elected Mamdani to fight for the workers, and he's proving to be doing just that.
Now, every rom-com lover knows that after the heart has broken and all seems lost, there's oftentimes only one thing left to do: order delivery. From How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days to You've Got Mail, our heroine or hero is brought back to life by meals brought to their door. And as proof of their gratitude, they tip the delivery worker in cash. However, with the advent of apps like DoorDash and Uber Eats, these moments of connection between delivery workers and hopeless romantics has withered. In recent years, megacorporations engineered design tricks in their interfaces to make it harder for New Yorkers to tip delivery workers. Tricks like setting the default tip amount to below 10% in New York City, moving tipping prompts to hidden post-delivery screens. These ploys had their intended effect. While these companies raked in billions of dollars in revenue, the average tip at Uber Eats and DoorDash decreased from $3.66 per delivery to just 93 cents. That is a 75% drop per delivery. Anyone who has worked in food services or delivery knows just how essential tips are to make ends meet. But DoorDash and Uber Eats chose not to account for a simple truth. Instead, they made a bet. They bet that they could take advantage of the delivery workers who traverse our city in sleet and snow, who bike in extreme heat and flooding in order to keep New Yorkers fed. My friends, they bet wrong. Delivery workers may pedal through our streets on their own, but they are far from alone. When they weren't delivering food to doorsteps across the 5 boroughs, they were doing what New Yorkers do best. They were meeting up in parks and on street corners and in houses of worship. They were talking to one another, and they were organizing. I have had the privilege of breaking fast, cheering on the Knicks, and standing shoulder to shoulder with many of these workers as they demand what they are owed. Since day one of our administration, City Hall has worked to ensure that dignity is accorded to every New Yorker, not just those who can afford it. Since our new laws took effect 6 months ago, they have put delivery workers on track to receive an average annual increase of $2,287 paid to them in tips. That money is measured not only in bills that get paid with less dread and desperate math, but in less time spent biking on city streets just to be able to afford a meal of their own. It is also a return to transparency for the New Yorkers who rely on delivery services. From the harried father ordering an emergency pizza for family dinner, to Sex and the City's Miranda Hobbs eating chicken with broccoli and brown sauce while she watches her favorite show, Jules and Mimi. Today's $104 million victory is part of City Hall's larger effort to hold delivery apps and mega corporations accountable.
I'm already seeing a lot of yappers online saying, oh, well, this law was from before Zohran's time. Yeah, and Eric Adams tried his best to kill it. In the end, he refused to sign the bill. There's a reason why Uber and DoorDash spent millions trying to stop Zohran. So if anyone thinks that Eric Adams was going to put any kind of money towards enforcement like Zohran, well, then I got a Trump phone that I can sell you around back. The proof is in the pudding, or in this case, in the ice cream, that Zohran is making easier for New Yorkers to serve other New Yorkers. I think that we've let the mainstream media convince everyone that capitalism means business and money, but it's really just about who keeps the profit. Small businesses tend to be more socialistic since the worker is often the owner. Even better if it's a fully employee-owned business. The prosperity that comes from access to markets is often an overlooked strategy of the American left, but Mamdani is capitalizing on this perfectly, as the Financial Times points out. Bureaucracies rarely dismantle themselves voluntarily. The true test of open will be not how many reforms City Hall announces, but how many forms disappear. how many inspections are consolidated, and whether entrepreneurs actually notice the difference. If there is progress, Mamdani and Khan's, that's Lina Khan's, most lasting contribution to New York may have little to do with dismantling monopolies. It may simply be making it easier for the next barber to spend less time filling out paperwork and more time cutting hair. We have to remember that Zohran's only halfway through his first year. By the end of his terms, he's going to be remembered for both dismantling monopolies and making it easier for barbers, I'm sure. Just look at the way that people are already responding to him when they see him.
वालेकुम सलाम। ठीक हो? कैसे हो? बढ़िया। थैंक यू जी। आप कुल्फी लेंगे? हाँ, प्लीज ले लो। How's coffee? Good? 5 out of 5?
Yeah.
10 out of 10?
Yeah.
That's all we want.
Can we take a picture?
Yeah, we can take a picture.
One of the things that the Financial Times mentioned was Lina Khan's involvement. I am so serious when I say that I would vote for Khan as president in a heartbeat. I mean, tell me this doesn't sound like the kind of fighter that you'd be happy to have on your side. She writes, one of the areas we aggressively policed at FTC was made in USA fraud. Labeling goods made in America if they're actually imported is illegal. Our team just uncovered that Amazon and Walmart are intentionally ignoring Made in America fraud on their platform and are even systematically using their AI chatbots to steer shoppers away from Made in America goods. The report that Lina linked to is brilliant. It shows how Walmart has been knowingly breaking the law to the point where their AI chatbot is straight up admitting to it, highlighting what we all know, that the oligarchy plays by a different set of rules. That's why we're sick of the establishment hacks who capitulate to monsters like the Walton family over their own constituents. New York is like another universe where the government takes their foot off your neck, extends a hand, pulls up a chair, and lets you watch them duke it out with the rich instead. In Zohran's press conference, all of the follow-up questions were about the tax on rich folks' second home. Listen to the anger in this so-called reporter's voice.
Do you owe the thousands and thousands of people some kind of explanation for the anxiety it caused thinking they might have to have a tax and then have to go fight City Hall to prove they are exempt with information the city should already have? Where is the excellence in that in government that you've promised?
We're always going to do everything that we can to ensure that we're communicating clearly to New Yorkers. And I think that what we've found thus far is when it comes to these letters being sent out, it is anyone that the city believes may be subject to this surcharge. And now the work will begin to ensure that if someone has registered their property in a trust or they registered their property in an LLC and they are in fact the primary residence holder there, that is something that is communicated with the city. We've put the investment in, we're putting in the time now to ensure that come next year, this tax is only levied on those who are non-primary residences that are worth more than $5 million. Thank you all very much.
I'll tell you, I don't think people are too concerned with how anxious second homeowners are who don't even live in New York, or that someone might have to prove that they do live in New York. That's how it's always worked with taxes. The mainstream media is just trying every attack angle they can, because we finally have a politician who is working for the people. You can now become a member of the channel. It's the best way to support our work here, but just watching and subscribing is always great. I'm Tony Hinderman, and I'll catch you next time.